Hello everyone, Man Adventures here for this month in Keysets. Yes, it's time for the October Keysets, and after this we'll be back to hopefully our normal weekly-ish schedule for the keyboard news. For this video, like I mentioned, Keysets for October. We have quite a bit to go through, even though quite a few of them have already ended, but hey, that's still worth talking about them. Let's get started. First up, we have our spotlight topics, and to kick things off, we have GMK Noire by Apiary. This set is a pretty classy looking set using RAL 1013 and GMK CR for a nice beige on black, which feels like a textured version of white on black. It's not a super loud or contrasty set, but I think it's going to work just fine in being like, this is classy. It's currently running for $140, which is pretty okay for the base, although not as competitive as many other sets that would normally go for $120 that we see these days. Despite this, I know this set's going to sell like hotcakes, considering it's simple, pretty, and Apiary's name is behind it. Next up is SA Carbon Round 3 by Tomberry. While this has already ended, it's no doubt Carbon is an extremely popular and successful colorway in our community with multiple runs in both GMK and SA. I like the SA version quite a bit because I think the tall SA keycaps really lend well to the aesthetics of the Carbon colorway. If you've joined this set or you're waiting for extras to be available, you'll have to wait quite a while since they aren't estimated to ship until mid to late September 2021. The next spotlight is also one that is finished for this month, or for October I mean, because now it's November when this is coming out. It's an extremely popular set, GMK Space Cadet II, the second iteration of Space Cadet by Ablotsky. That's inspired by Microswitch's Lisp Space Cadet keyboard. The set went for $120 on novel keys or €120 equivalent elsewhere worldwide. I think if you want a busy homage to the past, Space Cadet is always a solid option in terms of any key set. With GMK's Q, the current estimated ship is 30 to 35 weeks from now, which is a little bit of a wait. But hey, it's not forever for those who are wanting to get some extras. I love this set, and I'm happy many others love it as well. Moving on to our next spotlight topic, it is GMK Mudbeam that was on novel keys by Skadi. So I think this set it's interesting, because normally a designer has a colorway based on the theme or idea, and then they make the set, and as they're making the set, they contact artisan makers to collaborate to have, color matching artisans to help promote the set and with publicity and stuff. GMK Mudbeam basically went the opposite direction by taking colorway inspiration from Hungerworks Studio, an excellent artisan crafter by the way. This group buy is over like the others I've mentioned, but honestly, the colors aren't for me. I don't think it jived too well with how I like to display keyboards, but I do respect Skadi, who went that opposite route and took inspiration from an artisan colorway instead of the normal route, which is, the other way around, and how most people think of colorways and sets. Our last spotlight topic is GMK Rainy Days by Owl, which is currently running on Kono until November 16th. GMK Rainy Day kind of reminds me of taking GMK Sky Dolch and making it a bit brighter, which is ironic because a rainy day sounds much darker than Sky Dolch, which is kind of a flip on looking at both sets. It's running for $135, and if you want the Hangul Alphas, that's another $40, which I think is pretty slick for this set, although I think the base set alone would be just fine if I was going to get it. And I would get it if I wasn't already over my head with my expenses and life for, yay, being irresponsible-ish. The mention of the week, well, I guess the mention of the month for this episode is going to be GMK Redline over on Dixie Mech. It's certainly an interesting set that seems to want to focus your attention on the modifiers as opposed to the alphas, since the alphas are essentially, gray on dark gray or gray on black, whereas the modifiers use a very bold red for their for the legends, similar to warning lights on a car dashboard to grab your attention. That's pretty much the point, and with the novelties that this set has, it's really spot on in that idea on focusing your attention to the modifiers. I think that's a very interesting idea, and this is an interesting execution. It's going to be running until November 13th. The base kit's $105, which is pretty competitive for a base kit, but honestly, I don't think this set is complete unless you also buy the dashboard kit for all those nifty novelties. And that's going to run you another $40 on top. So yeah, if you're going to get the set, I definitely recommend getting it with the novelties. I don't think it really hammers home the set idea without them. If I was going to get it, it'd be a requirement for me. Okay, let's have fun. with the rapid fire. Pew pew pew, baby, let's go. GMK Demon Sword is over, but features a nice blue on white with Hangul, and has an option for red alphas according to the GCAC page, but that apparently didn't make MOQ, so well, I mean, that makes sense. The red alphas were a bit too much, and it's $135. That was before the red alphas on TX keyboards. Random note, I am really happy TX keyboards has been, picking up more sets and more projects, which means more options for more people for running things. GMK Retrocast looks like it would be themed after BMO from Adventure Time, but it's actually inspired by the glorious Game Boy era, whatever that means. GMK Grand Prix is pretty clean, and I like the colors and mode. I like MotoGP, so no major complaints from me. Looks decent. Looks decent. IFK Dark Cyrillic. By the way, IFK is Infinikey, in case you haven't caught up with all the acronyms yet. It's a simple blue or red Cyrillic on black, and it makes you really wonder and ask: is Infinity at that quality to be almost GMK pricing? ePBT Skadi is surprisingly, one of the first weeby sets of this episode. Not the first. But hey, if you like purple sub-legends, if you like purples, if you're a weeb, take a look. Take a look. SA Bisoromi has come and gone, but Bisoromi will never leave my heart. GMK Taegeukgi is a pretty interesting set featuring reds and blues of Korea with more Hangul sub-legends. It's a clean-looking set, and I don't really call too many sets with sub-legends on the numpad like this one, which I really like the look of. Like, it looked really good on like a southpaw. Full size, you know what I mean? GMK Tuzi features a lilac color and seems to be a much softer set, and I think a lot of people are coming around to the idea of softer colorways, and we've been seeing quite a few of them lately compared to really high contrast ones, which have, typically been some of the more dominant sets. GMK Stealth is a very low contrast set that will probably remind you to focus on learning how to touch type if you can't yet. GMK Civilization is a simple 2-color set with some neat novelties. I'm just not a huge fan of the colors. It doesn't bring joy to me. ePBT Soju is the perfect set if you're a Soju alcoholic and you want to make sure people at work know that too. SA Ramses is inspired by the Nile, and it goes for a dark alphas on light modifiers, which is typically seen as a pretty bold choice, but in my opinion usually not the best choice. An alternate alpha version does exist if you want a 2-tone set, but that's just creamy and boring. JTK Classic Retro Cyrillic is something I'd be down to clown with. Retro Cyrillic sets used to be a lot more popular, and I'm happy to see a resurgence of some classics like this one, so yay! ePBT Dreamscape is this month's gradient set, which, as gradients go, actually isn't too horrible in the transition of colors, and I actually like the gradient more than I like the rest of the set, which is rare for gradients in me. GMK Hinokoku is inspired by Avatar: The Last Bender's Fire Nation, but honestly, I bet you it's more of a cover to claim it's not inspired by Megumin. DSA Li'l Dragon is another gradient set that goes a full gradient all the way across. You can have either mono katakana alphas, or if you want the Latin alphas, it's like a rounded sans serif Proxima Nova font, which is it's interesting. It reminds you of like a gentle trip, is how I describe the set. GMK Yoru is see Zamumon's response. GMK Retrowave is no. Isn't the Retrowave aesthetic like on a downward trend right now? I mean, aside from that, the set just looks like neon bubblegum disaster. GMK Tea Witch is another weeb set. It looks boring. It looks boring to me, and it's kind of what happens when you make a set based off a character whose design focuses more on their clothing design than it does their color design. GMK Mashu is, it's another weeb set, but I think this set actually looks completely fine, and it's even better if you don't use those accent colors. Like, it's a decent set without any of the accent colors, because the accent colors looks like dried up Pepto-Bismol. Cat PBJ is a set that you should only get if you're going to get the strawberry version, because strawberry, as far as I know, is the best J in PB&J. GMK NCO is about 3 words: nut, cuck, and oof. JTK Space Camp Mars is a Mars themed set, which is interesting to see the bold red of the alphas and the dusty orange used for the modifiers. Not colors I'd like together, but I see what they're trying to do. Not too bad, just not for me. GMK Patisserie is actually like a nice calm and pink set. And I really like those nom 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 keys. The set really wants to, I want to get a macaroon after looking at the set. This next one, absolutely wild. Full aluminum keycaps, okay? For 108 keys, that's $450. Bump that up to 135 keys, $499. That's wild. That's like as much as a nice custom. They're going for an Evangelion colorway, which is pretty interesting. I'd rather have like a silver polished aluminum set just for the flexing, but Finally, we have the SA8010, which is actually a pretty cool looking SA set that would probably tickle your pickle if you're a fan of sets like SA Space Cadet and, you know, sets inspired by vintage boards. Thank you everyone so much for watching. The normal programming for This Week in Keyboards will continue very soon, so stay tuned. But hey, don't forget to like and subscribe to see more videos, reviews, streams, and other fun stuff that I'll have more keyboard content working as the holidays approach. Should be a good time. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Have fun and keep on keyboarding.